Her Journey from Madness to Majesty, a transformative tale of genius, spiritual awakening, and the heroine's path. Written and narrated by Bodhi Christopher Omar Horn.
There are moments in life when the ordinary fades and the extraordinary whispers your name. Genius is not a gift given to the few, but a spark within every soul, waiting for the courage to awaken. And yet, it is often fear that stands between the mundane and the miraculous. In this tale, you will find yourself as the heroine finds her way from the shadows of doubt into the brilliance of her true nature. Listen carefully, for within this story lies your own call to adventure. Let it stir the embers of your creativity and guide you toward the greatness that has always been yours to claim. In a village lost to time, creativity was a quiet whisper, confined to the shadows of tradition. Each soul in this world held a spark of genius, vibrant, wild, and yearning to be expressed, but fear tethered them to a life of quiet conformity. This is where our heroine, an extraordinary creative spirit, begins her journey. She lives among her people, respected yet misunderstood. Her restlessness grows as if an inner fountain, long-capped, trembles at the brink of overflow. The routine of life dulls the edges of her once blazing passion, and she begins to wonder, is this all there is? This is the ordinary world, one in which many of today's leaders and visionaries find themselves trapped. They are successful by external standards, but internally they suffer a sense of limbo, as if their creativity has been caged. The vital being within beckons them to break free, yet fear of failure, judgment, and even of their potential, acts as a chain, holding back their wild genius. Our heroine's call to adventure comes as an undeniable beckoning. Perhaps it's a conversation, a book, or a fleeting moment of awe that stirs her dormant creative power. She begins to see the cracks in the ordinary world around her. The routine feels suffocating. The validation she once sought now seems hollow. The world she thought she knew begins to dissolve as the call intensifies, telling her that greatness lies beyond the safe borders she's always known. But, like all heroes, she initially refuses. The refusal of the call is the familiar voice of self-doubt. Who am I to go beyond what I know? She imagines the disapproval of those around her. What if I fail? Fear cloaks her, whispering that it's safer to stay within the confines of success she already understands. Her creative flame flickers, nearly extinguished by the rational mind's logic of risk aversion, a symptom of ego that acts as a psychological block. Yet destiny won't be denied. Her refusal is met with a divine intervention, an omen, a mentor, or a moment of clarity. The raven dove in the sky sings a familiar tune, one that resonates with her soul. It calls her not to simply survive, but to thrive, to rekindle the flame of her genius. This bird mirrors the music of her heart, reminding her of the joy, the struggle, and the worth of her creative spirit. And so she meets her mentor, Zadi, a figure of immense wisdom and intuition, one who has journeyed through the same dark valleys she faces. Zadi does not promise an easy path, but offers a framework, a map to guide her through the coming chaos, and a compass to align her true north. This is not just practical guidance. It is a spiritual alignment, a recognition of her divine potential. Through this meeting, she understands that to step into her genius, she must transcend the fear-fueled delays of ego. As she crosses the threshold, the known world falls away, and she enters the realm of uncharted brilliance. The comfort zone crumbles beneath her feet, and she must now rely on her inner creative power to guide her. This is where the creative leader, the entrepreneur, and the visionary step into their true purpose. No longer content with playing small, they abandon the safety of the familiar. In this new world, the heroine faces tests, allies, and enemies. The first test? To turn down the volume of the ego and turn up the genius. The genius flows not from external validation, but from within, a self-reinforcing loop of creative expansion. Her allies are fellow visionaries and disruptors who, too, have left behind the safety of convention. But enemies appear as well. The voices of doubt, the external pressures, and a shadow figure who represents her own fears. Fear of being misunderstood, of being too much, of failing her own expectations. She fails at first. She is met with setbacks, but the journey demands she continue. The enemies, which once seemed external, reveal themselves as manifestations of her own inner resistance. She struggles, wondering if she should return to her old life, but the taste of creative freedom is too sweet to forget. As she approaches the inmost cave, her deepest fears rise. She confronts the part of herself that still clings to perfectionism, to the need for approval, to the safety of the ordinary. The cave is dark, filled with the echoes of old programs, voices from her past telling her to stay small. She begins to doubt her ability to continue. Is this journey too much? The ordeal is upon her. This is the moment where the world teeters on a knife's edge, where she must summon all that she has learned to face her greatest adversary, herself. The battle rages between ego and genius, between the static, fearful mind and the dynamic flow of limitless creativity. Yet, it is in this very confrontation that the heroine finds her strength. In the darkest moment, she realizes that to overcome, she must not fight her ego, but surrender to her genius. The resistance falls away, and she is reborn, not just as a creative force, but as a beacon of fearless leadership. She emerges from the ordeal with the reward, the knowledge that her genius, her creative spark, is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is what the world needs from her, what she was meant to give. And so she begins the road back, carrying with her the lessons and the fire of her creative force. The world she once knew is now both familiar and foreign. She has changed, and with her, so too must the world. There are more challenges to face, but now she does so with the unwavering confidence that comes from knowing her true power. In her resurrection, she is tested one final time. The stakes are higher than ever. Her creative legacy hangs in the balance, but this time she knows how to flow with the friction. The creative breakthroughs come not from striving, but from surrendering to the autotelic state of genius, the space where her work and play meld into effortless creation. And finally, she returns to the ordinary world, but she is no longer ordinary. She is a powerhouse of art, business, and purpose, her genius a living force that inspires others to rise. She has become the elixir, the very essence of creative transformation, not just for herself, but for all those around her. The heroine's journey is not just a story. It is an invitation for every creative visionary, every leader on the brink of burnout, to embark on their own odyssey, from the hidden madness of high performance to the majesty of transformative genius. This is the apotheosis.
Thank you for listening to Her Journey from Madness to Majesty, a transformative tale of genius, spiritual awakening, and the heroine's path. Written and narrated by Bodhi Christopher Omar Horn, 2024. The end.